A lot's going on behind the scenes that are not reported by the media, and who would have known that a veteran sports reporter has been ostracized by his own company? If you're not familiar with what happened with former ESPN sports journalist Ariel Helwani, then today's a good time for you to find out. Welcome back to our channel. For today's topic, we'll be revealing the MMA journalist Ariel Helwani's real feelings towards his ESPN exit, as well as his strained relationship with UFC's Dana White. Have you heard what White said to this sports reporter? Who is Ariel Helwani? Ariel Helwani is a Canadian journalist who mostly covers sports news, specifically anything related to mixed martial arts, and held special status with the UFC until his preemptive leaking of the appearance of Brock Lesnar at UFC 200, for which he was banned for life by UFC President Dana White, though the ban was lifted a few days after. Helwani, on his relationship with White, he raised hell to try to stop me. Since Helwani's exit from ESPN, he's free from worry about his business relationship with the UFC. When he made an appearance at the Batard show on one Monday on July 12, 2021, Helwani talked about his time working at ESPN, as well as his complicated relationship with UFC's Dana White. As we've all come to know, White was not the biggest supporter of the MMA journalist, and even went as far as kicking him out of UFC 199 and banning him from all future events after Helwani accurately reported about Brock Lesnar's UFC return in 2016 while he was working for MMAfighting.com. 2 years later, Helwani began working for UFC in 2018, and yet White still didn't warm up to him. If anything, White seems adamant in making his blatant dislike obvious to Helwani, and even called him a derogatory comment in response to Helwani's criticism of former MMA fighter Gina Carano, who had received intense backlash for controversial social media posts comparing the current political climate to Nazi Germany. Last June 2021, Helwani's 3-year contract finally expired, and he opted not to renew his contract to pursue better opportunities with Vox Media, Spotify, Substack, and BT Sport. Batard asked if Helwani's decision to leave ESPN was purely his, or if White or any other external factors played a role in it, which is not completely inconceivable considering ESPN and the UFC agreed to a 5-year, $1.5 billion deal in 2018 that gave ESPN the company's entire rights package. For the first time, the journalist expressed his side of the story, which is as follows. So, I can't answer that question with yes or no, but I will explain it like this, Helwani starts. From the moment it was made public that I was joining ESPN, unbeknownst to me on my life, on my kid's life, I didn't know when I was hired by ESPN. I didn't know that they were in talks with the UFC. I had no idea. At the time, they really had like one MMA guy on the staff. I thought, alright, the sport is growing. Conor McGregor, they want to beef up the coverage. I had no idea about the other stuff. And then if you recall, and you can go back and look, initially they signed them to a 10-card deal, ESPN Plus owned, and then I was like, alright, they're not the sole exclusive broadcast partner. I can live with that. And then it became the whole freaking thing, and then I started to get nervous. So from the moment it was made public in mid-May that I was going to ESPN, and at that time it had already been out they had signed this deal with ESPN, the UFC did, Dana White tried to get me to not even make it to my first day. I mean, he raised hell to try to stop me. My first day was June 15th, tried to stop me from getting to the first day. Now, to the credit of a lot of the executives there, they all said no. They all had my back. They gave me shows. They gave me opportunities. But for the next 3 years, it was one roadblock after the next. It one issue after the next. It was all kinds of stuff. He continued, I'll tell you a story. I've never even shared this story. When I would be at events, Dan and everyone, let's say it's the weigh-ins, right? And there's a desk there and I'm doing something beforehand, but Dana White's coming out as a guest in 30 minutes or something. I would have to be escorted out of the venue because, per his request, I couldn't be in his vicinity or in his line of sight. So here I am on the set of a company that I work for, and security, the nicest people in the world who are embarrassed that they had to do this, would tell me, I'm sorry, Ariel, we have to walk you out. You know how that makes someone feel? We have to walk you out of the venue because Dana White doesn't want you in his line of sight. I said, I'll sit right over there. I won't even look at him. I'll look at my phone. What are we doing here? So that's the kind of stuff that I had to deal with. I couldn't go backstage. I couldn't do a lot of other stuff. Despite everything that's happened, the former ESPN journalist was professional about everything and bore no ill will toward anyone at ESPN. If anything, he did admit that he was disappointed by the offer he received after his previous contract expired. For the record, they did give me an offer, and it was an offer that I think a lot of people covering MMA would be thrilled with, Helwani said. At the end of the day, there was an offer that I had to turn down. They could have easily said, thanks for your time, let's just go our separate ways. But they did give me an offer. It was not an offer that I felt was fair or that I was looking for or even reflective of the work that I had done for the past 3 years. I was 100% disappointed by the offer. It was not what I was expecting. Helwani never expected to work on ESPN for only 3 years, but he thinks that everything worked out, and true enough, he found new employment wherein he's more free and independent as an MMA reporter without the ridiculous rules. White probably thinks he ran me out, Helwani said. He's probably, in fact I know, he's celebrating that I'm not there anymore, but I would argue that he did me a massive favor as a result result of all of his complaints over the past 3 years. UFC 199, the event that led to Helwani's short-lived ban. In 2016, Helwani and 2 other journalists were escorted out of the forum by the UFC and were banned for life by the organization, which was revealed by Helwani through a series of tweets. According to Awful Announcing, the UFC didn't favor the journalist's move when he broke the news that Brock Lesnar would be making his comeback at UFC 200 before it was officially announced. Making him the first to make this revelation, Helwani was also the first to report a Conor McGregor-Nate Diaz rematch that would headline UFC 202. I was brought to the back by UFC Public Relations and told by UFC President Dana White that I had to leave the arena, Helwani told Yahoo Sports. Dana mentioned that from what I recalled that Brock Lesnar was upset the news was released early and that this could have ruined their deal. He repeatedly said, "Go cover Bellator. We don't want you here." I said, "What did I do wrong?" He said, "You're too negative." He is joined by 2 other journalists, namely E. Casey Layden and Esther Lynn. All 3 journalists had their media credentials revoked before the main event of UFC 199, the middleweight title bout between Luke Rockhold and Michael Bisping. They said I should have had the professional courtesy to clear the news with them before reporting the news, Helwani told Sports Illustrated. I had confirmed it with multiple sources, and it ended up being right. They confirmed it on the broadcast around 3 hours after I reported it. This has never happened to any of us, never even hinted at. I went back to my room. Esther and Casey are the very best at what they do. I would argue the best in all of sports. I've been working with them since 2009, and I wish this didn't happen to them as well. But the ban on these reporters didn't take long, and it wasn't long before the UFC released a statement a few days later wherein Helwani was reinstated as a reporter. Following a conversation with the editorial team at SB Nation, UFC will not prevent MMAfighting.com from receiving media credentials to cover live UFC events. The UFC's official statement read, "We respect the role the media plays in our sport and beyond, including MMA Fighting's ability to report news. However, in our opinion, we believe the recurring tactics used by its lead reporter extended beyond the purpose of journalism. We feel confident our position has now been adequately communicated to the SB Nation editorial team." The UFC's goal as the world's leading mixed martial arts promotion is to cultivate interest in its world-class athletes and events and deliver for the fans. We will continue to introduce this sport and its athletes to new fans across the world, and we will do so by working alongside media across all platforms. But this is all in the past, so we all express a warm congratulations for Helwani for now finding better employment and press freedom. With that, we'll be wrapping up today's episode about Ariel Helwani's thoughts on his ESPN exit and his relationship with UFC's Dana White. Hopefully you enjoyed and learned a lot in watching today's video as much as we did making it. Before you go, don't forget to click the like button and subscribe to our channel with the notification bell on so you won't miss any of our new releases. We've got a lot of other interesting videos up on our channel for you to choose from. Thanks for watching today's video, and we'll see you at the next one.